Five green bottles hanging on the wall.
Chapter 3. The World Turns Upside Down. July 1950. The communists transformed the buildings in our neighborhood into military offices, a weapons warehouse, and a training school for women soldiers. All the places where innocent children used to play were gone. There was no more chatting, laughing, or giggling. The soldiers' noisy footsteps made us freeze even in the heat of summer. The communists closed all schools and churches and used those buildings as storage houses for weapons. One day, soldiers rushed into our house and pointed rifles at us. "Every woman friend must work for the North Korean nation," they shouted. "Don't worry about food. Our leader Kim will provide us daily rations." Friend was how the communists addressed everyone, so they called my mother Mother Friend. But the communists were never friendly at all. They forced my mother and other women to carry boxes of weapons to nearby mountains and dig holes to hide them. My fears grew again. I heard that sometimes the soldiers pushed old and sick women into these holes and shot them. My elder sister Yumi was the oldest child in the family, so she was forced to do most of the housework once my mother was sent off to work. There was little food and we started to become very hungry. After the last harvest season, my mother bought a lot of rice to keep in a large wooden chest. A chest so big that my younger brother June and I could hide inside of it when it was empty. But the communists took all the rice we saved and never refilled the chest. There was no rice in local markets either.
Where did that one come from?
The communists promised that their leader Kim Il-sung would give us food every day, but they only gave us small amounts of barley. The communists also refused to give my mother the barley if they were not happy with her work. My mother used the barley to make thin porridge, but there was not enough to feed 5 children, and we sometimes had to sleep without having any food at all. I collapsed one day because I was weak and starving. When I woke up, there was white rice and meat in front of me, and my mother shoved the food into my mouth. "Mom, where did you get this good food?" I asked in surprise. "Shh, be quiet, your siblings are sleeping." "We don't have enough food to share with everyone," she said. I begged Eddie and his mother to give me something to feed you. Eat and stay awake. "Please don't die, Sumi." My mother tried to hold back her tears. Her beautiful face had turned dark and rough from the brutal work in the sun. "Mom, Eddie Uni said everyone will be equal, but communists like her are feasting on meat and rice while we're starving to death," I complained. "It's not fair. They lied to us. How can they eat when we have so little?" "Be patient and get some sleep," my mother said. "Mom, I want to see Father. Will he be home soon?" I asked. "Sumi, no one can travel to Korea now because of the war. Besides, the communists would kill your father if he were here because he's a Christian minister. And probably kill our whole family too. Don't worry, Sumi. We'll see him here again when there's peace." The next day, Mother closed our gates and instructed the kids to hide under a big table covered with cotton blankets. I hid there many days with my doll Hia. I loved her because my father had sent her as a gift from America. "Hia, don't cry," I said. "I know it's gloomy and miserable without Father, but Mother says he'll be back soon." "Oh, Hia, you've seen my father. Can you tell me about him? I can hardly remember. He left when I was only 4 years old. I've seen his picture, and I imagine he must be sweet, handsome, and tall like a giant, and his face must be bright as the morning sun." I held Hia close to my chest. "We'll wait for him together." Chapter 4. Children Under the Roof. "When is there going to be peace?" I shouted toward the airplane flying in the sky. "I can't wait much longer to see my father." But nobody answered. communists had taken over Seoul, but war was still going on. The United Nations did not like the communists, so they sent soldiers into Korea to fight. Americans waged full-on assault every day and tried to defeat the communists. The planes were so loud I had to cover my ears with my hands. I was scared whenever the planes flew by because they flew so low to the ground. I worried they might hit my head. My siblings and I were stuck inside for almost 3 months because of the air raids. Fortunately, we had borrowed a lot of books from the library. We lay down on the floor and read them, passing them down one by one. Yumi finished a book and passed it to Byung. In turn, passed it on to Yun, who then passed it on to me, and so forth. Sometimes the books were too difficult for me to read, but I leafed through the pages again and again. Still, I miss being able to run outside in the open air. I miss my friends, especially Minja, I remembered. It was sad to think about her. 2 years earlier, my family had moved to our new neighborhood. I didn't have many friends there. Children played games in front of my house every day, but I didn't know any of them at first. Minja was one of those kids, and she lived in an apartment close by. She was an amazing jump roper. She could jump once and then twirl the rope twice before she landed again. Minja saw me peering through the window, and she waved for me to come outside and play. We walked and soon became friends. We went to different schools, but she came to play at my house every day. She loved to play with my doll, Hia. When we were together, we brushed Hia's hair and made dresses in the house for her. I thought about Minja slamming the door when she saw me, and that made me sad again. The days passed dreadfully. Planes roared overhead. Bomb fragments fell in showers and piled up in our flower garden. My twin brothers couldn't bear to stay indoors all day, so they rushed outside to collect bomb fragments. Those were the only toys they had. My brothers kept the metal pieces in a drawer upstairs. They made make-believe castles by piling bomb fragments and small pieces of furniture on top of each other. They played war. Sumi, keep watch for us, Pyong said. Mama told us not to be upstairs. When you see Mommy coming home, say, the lion is coming, and we'll know to put away our toys and come back downstairs and hide under the table like we're supposed to. I don't want to lie, I said. Mommy said that going upstairs is dangerous. She said that if our house gets bombed, upstairs would be the first place to collapse. She said it's safest to stay hidden under the table. Sumi, please help us, Yun begged. We're so bored sitting at the table all day long. We promise that we'll stop going upstairs after today. Oh, all right. I finally gave in. I sneaked out of the house and stood by our gate. It was a chance for me to get fresh air and watch what's going on in the streets. I thought it was a good way to kill time, but I soon realized it's not easy keeping watch. Hate this job, I said. I can't stand it anymore. I decided to have some fun with my brothers. The lion is coming, I shouted. When my brothers heard me, they rushed down so quickly they almost rolled down the stairs. My sister and I laughed at them and clapped. Sorry, I was just practicing, I said. My brothers were mad at me, but what could they do? I was doing them a favor. An hour later, I fooled them again by calling out, the lion is coming, pretending that my mother was just around the corner. My brothers tumbled down the stairs again. They were starting to realize that they couldn't trust me. In the evening, I finally saw my mother in the distance. The lion's coming! I shouted to my brothers, but they didn't listen because it was the third time I cried out. The lion is here! For real! I rushed into the room almost breathless, but it was too late. Mother came back through our gates, back from her day of hard labor. I hid underneath the table where I was supposed to be, but my brothers weren't there. She went upstairs and found my brothers playing war. She scolded them and threw out the ball of the bomb pieces. I tried to stay hidden, but my brothers tattled me on well. My mother punished us all by making us skip dinner. I don't think that was fair. My brothers weren't about to give me any sympathy. I had cried wolf one too many times.